So I thought it'd be a really cool idea to discuss potential stories that could happen in Black Ops 7. Because in Black Ops 6, it had a bunch of potential, but it didn't really have a great story. So I thought beforehand, and we can visit this after Black Ops 7 is over, I'd ask a few questions about what could be answered in Black Ops 7. And I have 6 questions here that I think are pretty fun and interesting, and we'll get right to it. So the first question I got is, what canon is ending on Reckoning? So obviously we know that there's two possible endings on Reckoning. We have the Sam ending or we have the Richtofen ending. And I really hope they kind of get into what ending was canon officially, because we're going to be in the Dark Ether. We're not going to know anything about what's going on. So I hope maybe in like the finale or something that they get into what ending is canon. And I personally think that the Richtofen ending is canon. I just think him being the Eddie who walked out of the Dark Ether is a huge thing that they can't just end with him dying like randomly without any dialogue in a boss fight for an Easter egg. The only way I see it's the Sam AI ending boss fight is if she is the Sam who was marked as deceased in the MW3 cutscene, which is also a big mystery. What is going on with Sam? Is Samantha Max, is she alive? Is she not? We know that in Forsaken that she obviously sacrificed herself and was just thrown into the Dark Ether, and we haven't heard from her since. And in Modern Warfare 3, we had a cutscene where we saw Ava Jensen have like a tablet, and we saw that Samantha Maxis was not deceased. So that's another question too. Is Samantha deceased? Is she not? Is the Samantha Maxis who isn't deceased, is that the Samantha Maxis AI who's just in the Dark Ether living as a god figure, as Richtofen said in Shatter Veil? So it's a really interesting thing, and I hope that we get answers to that in Black Ops 7. So we'll move on to the second question. So the second question I got here is, will we learn about the events on how and why Ava Jensen is born? We know her story in MW3, but we don't know why her creation or birth was important. So obviously we know that Ava Jensen is the daughter of both Samantha Maxis and Ravenov, and carried by Gray somehow in birth. And we saw that cutscene. I'll play the cutscene really quickly, and then we'll get back into it.
We almost lost you, Ava. Your obsession with Gray's research almost got you killed. It is too dangerous to keep this from you anymore.
What is it?
Gray's last words to you.
Ava. I went through this in my head so many times, but I'm still not sure what to say. But I can't do what I need to without trying to talk to you, even if it's just to say goodbye. I carried you. I gave birth to you. But your biological mother was Sam. Samantha Maxis. She was the kindest, bravest soul I have ever met. And I miss her so much. We were all exposed to the Dark Ether. Sam, most of all. One day she went into the Dark Ether and didn't come back. This is why you are so important. You are bonded to the Dark Ether. It's in your genes. No one knows whether that could be something wonderful or something dangerous. We are dying, but we can ensure that someone will watch over you. We agreed Ravenov would be the best choice, especially given his connection to you. I know the Jansens will have given you the best life, but giving you up at only 3 years old, I am so sorry. I'd like to hope there's a part of you that will remember me.
There is.
I love you, Ava. Goodbye.
So in that cutscene as previously mentioned, we learned that Gray carried Ava Jensen and that Ravenov and Samantha Maxis are her biological parents. But what I'm really curious on is why Ava Jensen was born in the first place. I'll play another cutscene really fast, but we learned that Richtofen stole everyone in Requiem's DNA except for Strauss. I don't think Strauss has mentioned it, but Richtofen stole everyone's DNA. Gray, Maxis, Carver, and Weaver, he stole everyone's DNA in Requiem, and I'll play that cutscene really quickly again.
What the hell? Carver M, Weaver G, Gray E. Max's? Oh, Sam. You motherfucker! Fuck you! Fuck you! Fuck you! Whoa. What are you doing? They took them! They harvested them! To what? Our DNA! Rick Toppin took our fucking DNA! It's all here! Me, Weaver, Carver, they have Max's eggs, Maya! Her fucking eggs! But how the hell they even have those? After she returned from the Dark Ether the first time, Rick Toppin, he ran tests on her. He tortured her. It was horrific. Weaver told me about it while we were locked up on Terminus Island. Even if I'd known earlier, it's not like I had the power to change anything back then. Oh, fuck, I was so useless! That has to be when they took them. She never told me. Why didn't she tell me? Maybe she didn't know. Oh, God, I can't. Grab what you need and trash the rest. What now? Now, I am gonna make myself useful.
After learning Richtofen did that, we know obviously Ava Jensen is an accident and she was not supposed to be made. So I really am curious on how she was made and what were the events prior, knowing that she was going to be born. Because I'm sure that came out of nowhere, and I hope we learn why she was born and how important she really is in the grand scheme of zombies. And I really am interested in that. So hopefully they cover that in Black Ops 7. And yeah, we'll move on to the next question. So for a third question I have here is, with the fate of Requiem known, what happens to the other important characters who aren't in Requiem, like Maya, Peck, and Raptor 1? And just on a side note too, we don't know if like those side characters who are on the comms, like Ravenov, Peck, and Strauss, we don't even know if they're in the Dark Ether, because we just saw the original 4 playable characters get teleported in the Dark Ether, so we don't even know if they're in the Dark Ether. But more importantly, what happens to the non-people who are like not in Requiem? We know the 4 people in Requiem are going to be dead eventually, which is Gray, Weaver, Carver, and Strauss. All 4 of those people will die. But what's going to happen to Peck? What's going to happen to Raptor 1? What's going to happen to Maya? Will those people somehow die like early in the DLC cycle, like how Oz did in Advanced Warfare? It's all really fascinating, and I don't know what will happen. I don't know if they're just going to stick with the new Tempest or like the new Ultimates Primus crew, or are they just going to stick with them and know that everyone in Requiem is just dead? Will they move on from that story as a whole? All of that is very interesting to me because, again, we know what happens to Requiem. Will we learn what happens to them specifically in Black Ops 7? That's another question. But more importantly, what I think is more interesting is what happens to the people who are not involved in Requiem specifically. I really am curious. We know that Ravenov is like the lone survivor because obviously he's an MW3 Zombies. So what happens to everyone else, and how does the story move on from that specifically? I really am looking forward to learning about that, so hopefully they answer that in Black Ops 7 as well. We'll go to the next question. So question number 4 I have is, how will the new Tempest crew fit into the story? Because obviously, as previously mentioned, we know that Requiem is going to be dead eventually. I think it will happen in Black Ops 7 at the very end. I think that's when we'll find out what happens to Requiem and how they'll sacrifice themselves. But how will it go for the new crew? Will they survive longer and have a new story for themselves? Do they die with Requiem somehow? Or they just teleport out of the Dark Ether due to a Requiem sacrifice? I mean, all of it is just extremely, it's up in the air. I really hope that it's not the end of the crew when it's the end of Requiem, because we know what's going to happen to Requiem, like I said 40,000 times already. I just hope the new crew isn't tossed in there to die with Requiem. I hope there's something bigger for them, and it's really up in the air. It's them being inserted in the story is so out of left field and so random. I really hope they didn't just toss them in there to die. It really is fascinating, and I have no clue what to expect. So I really am interested in what they have to do specifically, because I think that the story that we're in right now is how Requiem is going to end, and this new Tempest crew is just there in the background for fan service, I feel like, right now. And I really do hope that they have a big story, and I really am curious what they're going to do. And yeah, so let's go to the next question. So coming at number 6, I have a question that I feel like everybody has had since watching the Ashes of the Dam intro cutscene, and that is, who is this new cowboy villain we see taking the character's souls or like their essence or whatever? And I keep hearing rumors that he is this Jeb Brown guy who created Pack-a-Punch, which is just so random to me because I don't know why he would be inserted to the story now if he's the creator of Pack-a-Punch. He just comes in like 18 years later after Pack-a-Punch was introduced, and he's just in here now taking people's souls in the dark. It's very random to me, and I don't think that's the case. And I really do like how he is the most unpredictable and fascinating part of the Black Ops 7 story so far. He has a bunch of charisma to him. He seems really, really cool, and I really am excited to learn about what he does and just his story in general, his identity and what he does. I don't think he's going to be the Ashes of the Dam like boss fight at the very end of the map. I think he is going to be the very last boss fight in Black Ops 7 on whatever the last map is. I think he'll be the last guy we fight, and I really am excited to see what he's all about and what his story is. So, yeah, that's probably what I'm the most excited to learn about is that guy specifically. And I have one last question I think is a fun one. So this last question isn't really story related. I mean, it kind of is for like how the characters are, but I think it's kind of a fun question, and I think it's more so a gameplay question. Now, the question is like, what characters will get along with each other and what characters will have a rivalry. For example, in Black Ops 1, Ultimus Dempsey absolutely hates Ultimus Richtofen, but Dempsey and Ultimus Takio, I think they like each other. So my friend Ultimus Dempsey made a post on his YouTube channel, and he said who he thinks will hate each other and who he thinks will like each other. And I really thought that was kind of a fun little last thing to throw in here last second. And I made my own little list here, and I wrote down, I personally think that everyone will hate Richtofen. If anyone likes him, it would probably be Takio, since his character is the most unpredictable given the time in history he was pulled from. And I think everyone will hate Richtofen, especially the Requiem crew, because for all they know, if the Richtofen side is canon and that they just tossed him in the dark ether, they don't know that there's more than one Richtofen. They're going to absolutely hate Richtofen. I think Dempsey and Nikolai will hate Richtofen, and Takio is just a wild card, so if anyone likes Richtofen, it'll be Takio. I wrote down Carver and Dempsey. I expect them to get along. Maybe they both fought with each other in the Vietnam War because they're both pulled from Vietnam. Carver, obviously, he fought in Vietnam years prior, but Dempsey, his character was pulled directly from Vietnam into the dark ether. So maybe somehow that they fought with each other and they could have some cool dialogue and backstory together. I also have Weaver and Nikolai, which is a tricky one because they can easily be allies since they are both from Russia. But Weaver, his character, moved out of Russia when he was a kid and moved to the U.S., and he fought for the U.S. in the Cold and Vietnam War, which Nikolai was on the other side of. So there could be some tension there, or there could be some unity there since they're both born Russian, and they probably both hate Richtofen. So there could be some like stuff together for that. And Takio and Maya, this one's like the most far-fetched and just a guess for me. I wrote Takio and Maya, I think, will have some sort of chemistry, and not only from the Ashes of the Dam intro cutscene, which we see them share Takio's sword and destroy zombies, which was awesome. But I think there could be some connection. I think Maya has some Asian descent in her background, and maybe there could be a possible connection there. That is just kind of like a fun little thing. I don't even know. I don't think it's going to be true, but it's a cool thing to kind of predict and just throw out there as a guess just for fun. And then, which would obviously leave Gray and Richtofen, and Gray and Richtofen will hate each other. I think Gray hates Richtofen so much, especially after the Reckoning shit. I think Gray absolutely hates him. So for Requiem, I think they will all get along. I think there was a bit of tension between Weaver and Carver discussing who they will help in the Requiem Easter egg. Besides that, Requiem will get along with each other. And for the new crew, I think we see Dempsey and Nikolai possibly being rivals with the time they came from, the tension that America and Russia were in during that time frame. I think Takio will be an outsider since he is literally 4 generations older than everyone else. And as previously mentioned, Richtofen will be hated by everyone, I think. So that's all the stuff I wrote down for this last question. And yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. So yeah. All right, real quick before the video ends, I thought I'd just quickly mention that I don't know everything about the story, and I really am excited for this game. And if I have some questions that were already sort of answered, feel free, fact check me, do anything you guys want to. Let me know anything in the comments. And if you guys have like other questions or theories of your own, by all means, comment them, and I will interact with you guys. I really do like talking about this Black Ops 7 story, or like the news story, because I know there's a lot of haters on it, but I really am interested in it, and I really do think it'll be a good game. I really am optimistic, and I think that it's going to be a fun game. So if you guys have any questions, theories, fun stuff, leave them down below. I'll talk with you guys down there, And yeah, let's hope Black Ops 7 is a good game. I really am hopeful that it's going to be a great game. So yeah, let's just hope it's good. Until next time. So see ya.